Introduction to arboriculture. Introduction to the module. In this module, we will provide you with a basic idea of arboriculture and elaborate on the purpose of seeds in arboriculture. Topics to be covered. Arboriculture, an introduction. Responsibilities of an arboriculturalist. Selecting trees for seed production. Location of source for appropriate seeds. Seed harvesting methods. Time limits for seed collection. Seed collection methods. Seed treatment. Seed picking. Seed drying for long storage. Seed storage and maintenance. Storage. Transport of seed. Arboriculture, an introduction. Arboriculture is the study of individual trees, shrubs, vines, and other woody plants, including cultivation and management. It deals with how plants develop and adapt to cultural practices in their surroundings. Arboriculture involves a variety of cultural techniques such as collection, planting, preparation, fertilization, pest and pathogen control, pruning, shaping, removal. Arboriculture is mainly concerned with individual woody plants and trees that are managed for long-term landscape and amenity purposes, typically in gardens, parks, or other inhabited areas. Risk management, legal concerns, and aesthetic considerations have all come to play important roles in arboriculture practice. An individual who practices or studies arboriculture is known as an arboriculturist. Responsibilities of an arboriculturalist. Arboricultural officers plant, maintain, and examine trees for hazards and vulnerabilities. They also prune or cut down trees as needed. Their major responsibilities are advising on tree protection and preservation orders in planning applications, managing trees in parks, on housing estates, and at the roadside, organizing tree planting schemes, conducting tree surveys and monitoring tree numbers, using technology, supervising tree care on site and tree planting contracts, giving demonstrations and talks on arboriculture and woodlands to schools and community groups, assessing tree damage after storms, training new staff and volunteers, selecting trees for seed production. The appropriate selection of seed-producing trees results in high quality of seed for healthy trees. Thus, seeds shall be appropriately selected based on the following conditions. Appropriate selection of mother tree. Mother trees shall be selected in the natural forest or forest plantation because the seeds from trees that grow alone mostly have disease, slow development and bad shape. Appropriate mother trees with a smooth, straight shape, few branches, without any holes, and free from disease. Selection of tree by purpose such as, for construction, the mother tree will have a straight and smooth stem, with few branches. For animal fodder, select trees that have leaves and fruit that animals can eat. Fast growing. More branches and leaves. Have high coppice potential. Evergreen species provide more fodder than coniferous species. Location of source for appropriate seeds. Seeds should be collected in any area with a similar climate to the planting area, considering the latitude, temperature, rain ratio and type of soil. Seeds harvested from upland areas, mountains or highlands, must not be cultivated in lowland areas, and vice versa. The best method is to gather seeds from the region to be replanted since they are already adapted to the local environment. Seed harvesting methods. Time limits for seed collection. A good time for collecting seeds is when the fruits of the trees are all fully ripe. Make sure that the fruits to be harvested are mature, should not harvest too early or keep them too ripe. Ripe fruit can identify through the following characteristics. Color of the fruit. The skin changes from blue or green to dark brown or yellow, or the skin becomes dry. Color of the wing. For any fruit with wings, fibers appear slightly on the wings, become hard and dry and turn from pink to purple-red, and sometimes turn from light green to dark green with light red. Smell. The fragrance of some fruit is noticeable when they are ripe. Being eaten by animals. Animals frequently eat ripe fruit, providing a good indicator for collection. Splitting fallen fruit. The fruit of some trees are ripe and loose in their pod. Seed collection methods. Collecting fruits from branches. Seeds on lower branches are easy to harvest, but they are not good. Seeds from the upper branches are good, but they are difficult to harvest. Seeds should be collected from both the lower, middle or upper branches. Other means of seed collection. The collection of fallen fruits is the easiest method, especially for tree species with fruit or a large seed such as Tectona grandis and some other species with fruit with wing. Collection tools, rakes, knives, and baskets, palm-leaved mats or plastic sheets. Steps. Clear the ground beneath the seed tree before the ripe fruits fall to ease the collection. Lay a plastic sheet under the tree to collect the falling fruits. Collect the fruits daily and clean them by sorting out the rubbish. Shaking the tree or its branches. Fruits or seeds of some trees do not naturally fall simultaneously, shaking the trunk or branches so that the ripe fruits or seeds fall together. Steps. Clear the ground under the tree, then lay down the mat or plastic sheet. Shake the trunk or branches by using a long picking stick, and farmers. Collect by sorting out fresh from dried fruits. Cutting fruit-bearing branches. When fruits or seeds are high on the tree, cut the fruit-bearing branches to collect the fruits on the ground. Steps. Select branches with good fruits. Use a stick attached to a sickle or adze to cut the selected branches. Collect the fruits or seeds from the cut branches. Tree climbing to collect the fruits or seeds. This method collects fruits or seeds with tough stems that are hard to make fall or for seeds that stick to their open pod. This method requires skills in tree climbing. The fastest and safest way is to use steps. Aluminium steps, which are portable and easy to use, are recommended. However, use a self-made bamboo ladder, 7 to 9 meters. Seed treatment. Seed picking. The fruit or seed of trees harvested as ripe fruit, a pod, fruit with a ripe dried pod, or a single seed shall be picked carefully to avoid decay due to fungus or rot. After the seeds have been harvested, they are simple to store. It is essential to use the most suitable picking and care methods, as most seed picking necessitates drying the pods beforehand, but some species need soaking in water to facilitate picking. The following techniques are simple methods for selecting and caring for seeds. Pod drying. Sun-dry the pods on a cement surface, plastic sheet, or cloth until they break. The pods can be dried in a large bin or colander with a mat underneath. The seeds fall onto the mat as they crack and open. Some pods do not crack, even dried them in the sun. In this case, the seeds should be crushed by stepping on them with our feet or putting them into a sack and beating them a pestle. Others do not crack and cannot be beaten because the seeds inside the pods will be damaged. To extract pollen, clean the seeds by winnowing or sprinkling. Wash the seeds in a water basket, then pick out the floating seeds and discard the water. Dry the seeds again. If you plant the seeds quickly, you do not have to dry them. Pod with flesh inside. It would be more comfortable if the seed could be picked from its pod at home. However, do not spend more time than necessary for seed picking. Heating or sour smelling, while the seed is piled on each other, could decay or reduce the germination quality of seeds. Given below is the method to pick and clean seeds. Soak the pod in water, 1 to 2 days, until the flesh becomes soft enough for cleaning. Clean the pod by hand thoroughly and carefully, separate the seed from the flesh. Sort out the floating pods and flesh, then drain the water from the bucket. Dry the seed in the wind. Winnow the seed to sort out the waste. Seed drying for long storage. Seeds are dried under the heat of the sun so that they can be stored for a long time. Below are some appropriate seed drying methods. Spread and level the seeds on a palm mat, plastic sheet, bright-colored plastic sheet or winnowing basket, then choose a location where there is the sun for the whole day. Stir the drying seed 4 to 5 times per day to ensure that the seed is thoroughly dry. Before rain or dawn, the seed should be kept in the house. Dry the seed for 1 to 3 days, depending on the moisture level of the seed. When drying, you should prevent damage by rodents or birds. Seed storage and maintenance. If the seed needs to be germinated 2 or 3 days after harvest, it can be kept in a cloth sack in the house without any special moisture controllers. If the seed is to be kept for a long duration, you must be aware of some appropriate storage methods. The seed that can be stored for long or short term initially based on the types of seed that have natural characteristics to enable long-term storage. Seeds that rot quickly, recalcitrant, cannot be kept for long, and you have to grow them immediately after harvest. Storage. It is important to maintain the moisture and temperature of the seed at a low level, and that should be checked regularly. Below are some important guidelines for storing seeds safely. Store only new, ripe and well-dried seed. Store the seeds in a dry, cold location that is waterproof and shaded but accessible by air to keep them alive for a long time. Seed affected by moisture shall be stored in containers not accessible by air, such as a barrel, tin or glass bottle with a tight cap. The containers should be labeled with the name and type of seed, location and date of harvest. If 8 among 10 seeds grow, then the germination rate is 80%. This information can determine how many seeds can grow when storing them between the harvest and planting period. The seeds should be mixed with neem leaves before loading them into the storage container to prevent the stored seed from being damaged by termites, ants or fungi. Prevent the stored seed from being destroyed by rodents or birds. Storing seed in firmly closed containers. Do not keep damp seeds in closed containers. Use airtight containers such as a plastic barrel, a bottle or jar or a bucket with a firm cover. Open the seed storage containers when necessary. Some seeds are not accustomed to drying or cold temperatures. These seeds can only be kept for up to 1 to 2 days in a simple room. To store these seeds, plastic bags should be half filled with seeds and half filled with slightly damp coal, sawdust or sand. Keep the bagged seeds in a cold place. Open plastic bags for 1 hour and a half per day to allow the circulation of air. Transport of seed. Transportation of quickly rotting seeds. After harvest, the seeds should be quickly transported as follows. Pack in a bag. Store 3 to 5 kilograms of seeds in a plastic or cloth bag. Close the bag but make sure that air has access. Place the bags in a vertical position in the storeroom. Cover with a plastic sheet when transporting. Burying in sand. Place sand in the area where you want the seeds to be stored. Spread the seeds out on the sand, 2 to 3 seed height. Layer for another 2 to 3 times, starting with the sand layer. Summary. In this module, we learnt: arboriculture is studying individual trees, shrubs, vines, and other woody plants, including cultivation and management. The appropriate selection of seed-producing trees results in high quality of seed for healthy trees. A good time for collecting seeds is when the fruits of the trees are all fully ripe. Seeds shall be dried under the heat of the sun so that they can be stored for a long time. It is important to maintain the moisture and temperature of the seed at a low level, and that should be checked regularly. The science of planting trees promotes rapid root growth to quickly reduce the water stress imposed by the harvest and planting process.